Good to be with you again. I know as we seem to be coming out of the COVID situation, we hear of more and more people, even young people, suffering from some form of depression. Being alone, being unable to have other normal human contact can do that to people. And I know especially at this time of year, when the bright days are fewer and fewer, and there's more and more darkness, there are many people who suffer from a form of depression at this time of year. Depression. The American Psychiatric Association says the long-term depression symptoms include changes in appetite, trouble sleeping, or sleeping too much, loss of energy, feeling guilty, trouble concentrating, or making decisions, or thoughts of suicide and death. And yes, we've heard of so many in our society, even young people, committing suicide in more recent days. Suicide can be a very horrible thing, depression, an awful thing, so paralyzing. It's perhaps surprising to realize that some of the saints have struggled with forms of depression. The great Saint Teresa of Lisieux is said to have struggled with it for many years. She united her suffering with the suffering of Christ, and so became a more joyful, positive person. And even the great Mother Teresa of Calcutta, surprisingly, we only discovered it after her death, as they studied her own journals that she had written, how depressed she was at times, how she felt abandoned by God, so distant from Jesus, even as she struggled in prayer to be close to Him. Yes, it can be a real problem for many folks in life. A licensed clinical psychologist wrote, "It is important to know that such serious symptoms of depression are not signs of laziness or a lack of willpower. They are signs of serious illness. Those who are severely depressed don't choose to withdraw from life. They actually can't be involved in life. They have no ability to motivate themselves or follow through with ideas that would help them. In fact, they often think of themselves as worthless and expendable." And so indeed they encourage people, if you know someone in the family, some friend who seems to be showing signs of depression, don't ask them if they want some help, because they can't say it. They can't make that decision for themselves anymore. They just need you to reach out and help them, even without asking them. Yes, this is probably one of the greatest challenges in our lives if we want to show love for others, to recognize signs of depression, to help others to come out of that darkness into light. And especially at this time of year when many folks seem to sink into a seasonal form of depression, to reach out and love to them. I remember well someone who I could see every year as the days grew shorter and the darkness grew greater, and she would sink into depression and lash out at people and be so negative about everything. And I thought, what a shame, what a horrible thing. At times I even thought maybe our thoughts about the deceased as we approach the month of November, remember all those who are deceased, that perhaps even aggravates the situation for the depressed. So yes, if we want a special intention for this time of year, I strongly recommend praying for those in our own community, perhaps in our own families, who are struggling with depression. That they come out of the darkness and see the light of Christ, see the goodness, the love, the mercy. We are, as Christians, people of hope. We can look beyond any suffering in life, even mental illness, and see the triumph of Christ over evil, the healing mercy of Christ that he gives to those who believe. Pray for those suffering in mind, body, or spirit. Pray for all those, even at this very moment, who are struggling with it, perhaps even with thoughts of suicide, that they turn again to the God who is the source of all life and love. We are a people of hope. We see the light in spite of all the darkness. God bless you and your loved ones.